Oh, I guess we're live now. Oh, I didn't get a countdown. I get no countdown. We're live. I just happened to just kind of look. The thing came up. Interesting. Dee didn't give me no countdown. Mm. How's everybody doing this afternoon? Usually I get a countdown. Get no countdown. Hey Ty, how you doing? Good thing I wasn't acting silly in the background. Hey Miss Phoenix, how you doing? Hey Corey, how you doing? What's going on, Todd? Sorry for the delay. I've been up all night. So today gonna be a wow. Been up all night. Dee says she apologized for no countdown. We just here getting populated. Highs. You love the red hat? Yeah, man. It's hair wash day. So it was supposed to be yesterday, but I ain't feel like it. I slept yesterday. I slept good too. Going on, Sasha. Congratulations. Congratulations to you for getting in the program. Casey Native one. How you doing this morning? Was everybody here for last week's show? Like, did you enjoy last week's show? Was it this show? Were you talking about $70,000 on this show, or was it the second show? I think it was this show. I don't know. They all run together after a while. Revive, revive. What? How old boy said? Soldier Boy, revive. You're trying to revive, Charlotte. Charlotte, no, you didn't. Oh, you watched the replay? That's cool. Thank you for watching the replay. Thank you for watching the replay. Yeah, I had one on and asked a couple other people. Okay. I had one on and asked a couple other people in some on some other channels, some other financial channels about the 70K and having to pay it back for a year. You're over here trying to get people broke. And D tell my you need to go to bed. I don't need to go to bed. I'm fine. But the material do run together for me sometimes. I mean, I write it, so I gotta remember what show go with what, and when, and where. Now, this is not okay for you to be a hater in the background. It's just not okay. Okay. She's typing in the background. She's like, "You're delirious." No, I'm not. You the one that's delirious. You the one scheduled the shows at the wrong time. Who delirious? Of me? Are you? Huh? What's going on, Donald? Like, yeah, don't pay it. Todd, don't feed into D. Do not feed into D. Don't feed into her. Cause she'll be over here with blasphemy. Right? She don't want to schedule the wrong show at the wrong time. I don't know how you do that. Hmm. Thank you for the super chat, Miss Phoenix. You was in Detroit last week looking at opportunities and missed the live, but caught the replay. You was it business opportunities or I'm being nosy or real estate? Do you know nobody care what you said? I got some friends that operate out of Detroit on real estate. I think she's up to 10 doors now. Oh, so D is delirious. Okay, there we go. D is delirious. That's right. Get it right. Well, good evening. It's still morning here. Thank you all for coming in. Let me see. Should I do D? You focus. Let me see. Let me pull up the notes from last week, and I can do a quick recap. That was episode 64. Okay, we didn't get a chance to talk about annuities. We did talk about the millionaires hit an all-time high. We talked about some of the biggest policies ever written when we were talking about insurance policies. That's super huge. When we're talking about what's going on and where we need to be at. Um, we talked about 1035 exchange. We did not get a chance to do the backdoor Roth IRA, which I have some of that today. I don't know if I want to do it on this show or the other show. But I do have some other stuff that I want to talk about. And I see some stuff on here that we didn't even really get a chance to discuss. Right. And then we talked about the $600,000 job, and then what it would be like if you had a $100,000 sign on bonus, and so forth. So that was the recap for last week. D's in the background talking about no intro. D, calm down. Okay? You calm down. You in the back causing panic attacks. Calm down. Calm down, little mom. Calm down. All right. So those of you that are new to the channel, or even the ones that are old to the channel, welcome to the channel. Thank you, Brooklyn, for for the $10 super chat. We appreciate you. Yeah, we know how bad this game's going on, Toya. Oh, marketing automation in there. Oh, okay, cool. Super dope. You were like the guy that was on Erica's show, the one that do the marketing. He's super dope. All right, so let's get started. If you don't know who we are Women in Linux. You can find us throughout social media at Women in Linux. You can find us at womeninlinux.org. I'm Tam. D is in the background doing D things, talking trash in the private chat, right? And we are also, see, we're on LinkedIn. We're on a Clubhouse. I haven't spun up a Clubhouse in a minute. Maybe one day I'll spin up a Clubhouse. It's just not as interactive. I have too many stats to be dropping and giving y'all real facts just to be sitting on Clubhouse like that. Like, I need you all need to see the screen, right? Even though you can share links, but it ain't the same, right? Also, you can also come here and connect with us after after church. We'll be selling cakes and cookies downstairs. But you can connect with us on Slack. All right. Drop your email in here. You hit connect, drop your email in here, and then connect with us after that. You can also, if you would like to have a one-on-one session with us, we are on Calendly as well. I don't know, did you set up things for I don't know if D set up stuff for the next month yet or not, but it should be coming out for next month and so forth, right? So that's another one, right? And then as well, if you want to donate with us, you don't have to donate with just your money. You can donate with your time. We do love to have speakers on and so forth. We love to have people on to talk about, where their journey, what they've seen, what they haven't seen, so forth and so on. And if you feel like that's just too much, you can always donate here via PayPal. I think D said there is a Zelle, so you can Zelle as well too. So um, nevertheless, you have options. I'm looking for this Discord that keeps going off in the background. I know I closed it, but it still is going off in the background. And I'm not sure where it is at and why it keeps going off. All right, so that's it for that. We did the recap. We have that, and now we're gonna get into today's topic. But before we do, Before we get into today's topics, right? I want to say some things that I've been hearing and stuff like that. All right, cool. All right, cool. So first things first. Um, what are you talking about? D? Let me see. What is D talking about? So first things first. When it comes down to our history as a people, I think a people do a lot of work to discredit a lot of things. And that it's in reference to some stuff B Simone said, but I'm not addressing B Simone, right? I don't address. I really don't even want to address this, but I just feel like let me not use the word feel like. I see the lack of the lack of the lack of respect for a lot of people before us, and I'm really in specifically talking about baby boomers, right? It was on they was on the show last night, asking about saying that Harriet Tubman wasn't real and so forth and so on. So I brought up the comment like, well, if that's the case, if we going that route, then the pyramids were made with brown Legos, right? Or the Moors was just out cruising on their ships and just chilling and just meeting up with people just to talk, right? Like at some point we got to have a real conversation about respect and history and the impact that things happen. Like, people keep saying like, oh no, there was no slave trade. That's a lie. That's this, that. Like, man, with some things, man, we just got to really be honest with ourselves about, because at the end of the day, um, regardless of how we got here, or regardless of wherever we're here, right? Here's the things we can't deny, right? Let's state some facts. Thank you for being a new member, Farida. Thank you so much. Here's some things we can't doubt, right? We can't say that there was no Malcolm X. We can't say there was no Martin Luther King. We can't, and we most definitely. This is another one that was this really a really a touchy subject for me. Um, we can't say that women didn't contribute to the civil rights. Like, what planet are we living on where we're like our own people? Like, we're oh yeah, let's just talk about our own people. They didn't do nothing. The women didn't do nothing. Like come on now. Like um my this is our own personal story. One of the reasons why I say it's personal for me. It's personal for me because my own mom marched in the civil rights. And Dee can vouch for this story too, because we were sitting down. I was asking her about, like, during the civil rights era, like what happened, what were things like for you, and especially when you're marching, right? She was like, yeah, I was gunned down with water hoses, and we've been chased by dogs, and we go to jail, and being hit by cops, and she was like, we go out there and we march with we march with Hosea Williams. I was like, so what happens when y'all go to jail? She was like, Hosea Williams and them didn't come get us out of jail. She's like, we had to have people that we knew that knew where we were going to stay behind and have money to come get us out and stuff like that. She's like, those, some of those leaders wasn't coming to get us out of jail. They didn't know who we were, but we were out there, right? And so it's for me, it's disrespect when, I can look at my mom and she can show you scars, or she could tell you about, marching, and Kev Tech IT support. Thank you so much. Thank you for stopping by, and thank you for your super chat there. And she could tell you about, like, the reason why, like, long story short, my mom, let me say this correctly because I don't want people to think my mom is a stripper or nothing like that. My mom used to teach people how to dance, how to coordinate, and how to dance. And one of her, and she didn't tell me this story. This story was told to me by her friends, and by her by my aunts and them, like, that she would, teach, the Commodores how to do their two steps. She's like, they got two left feet. She's like, they couldn't do nothing together, nothing right. And, going to school with Lionel Richie, and, what the civil rights meant for them, and the rights that we have today. I remember distinctly growing up, and my grandmother, who was born in what we know as 1911, but we think it's 1905. Thank you, Miss Phoenix, for becoming a member as well too. Who picked cotton? I remember distinctly getting up with my grandmother, going to vote. It was a privilege for her, because you're talking about somebody who was born in 1911, that couldn't vote, that wasn't allowed to vote, right? That didn't have any rights, that, washed people clothes, that I went with my grandmother growing up over to white people houses, and her cleaning, ironing board. I mean, not ironing boards, but cleaning, ironing clothes, washing clothes, vacuuming. The guy she would iron his shirts for, his name was Lee, and I called him Mr. Lee. And she would tell me, when you get here, you don't do anything. Kevin Edmond, thank you so much for being a member. Um, she was like, when you get here, you don't do anything. I work for them. You don't work for them. You go somewhere and sit down. And I would go sit on the sofa and just go to sleep. And she would she would wash his clothes, and wash 30 shirts, and then pull them out, and then iron them, and then cook his meals, and make sure he has meals for the rest of the week, and divide them up, and wash the bathrooms, and clean the TVs, and, make sure everything was together. And I would always get up and be like, you want me to help you? She was like, no, you don't help me. So when it was time to get up and go vote, she would get up at 6 o'clock in the morning. She is ready to go and ready to roll out, and we were walking down to the local school. In our case, it was Whiteford Elementary. Growing up in East Atlanta, we walked down there, and she'd be the first one in line. They knew she was coming. They were like, "Hey, Fanny," because my grandmother's name was Fannie Mae, and she'd be right there proud. She's like, "Baby, when you get 18, you make sure you register to vote. Your vote matters. Don't let them tell you nothing, right?" So you got her, then you got my mom, who's marching, and, civil rights, all her friends and stuff like that. And then I hear stuff like, what did women do, or the civil rights did nothing for black people. I got a lot of questions about, excuse the language, where the fuck we going? What are we doing? Why? What? Like I got a lot of questions, right? And I got a lot of concern of, like, should we be stopping the press on, like, educating ourselves on getting out of the rut that we're in, or do we need to really talk about what a rut is? Because I don't think we really know what a rut is, right? Um, it is totally insane to me. Um, what's going on, Intentional Millionaire? And you're welcome, MM. It is totally insane to me, like, the people, like, people that came before us, the boomers, right? And even before the boomers was the silent generation, and then there's another generation before that. The people that came before us, put in put in work. As much as we don't want to talk about it, let's really be honest. If we really want to call a spade, they have made the most money out of all the generations. Let's really be real. And the wealth transfer that they're transferring to Gen X, to millennials, to disrespect that generation for what they have done, regardless of how you feel about them, regardless of how you think they screwed up, regardless of how you think they didn't teach you nothing or whatnot, whatever. It is what it is. It is what it is. They in they late 60s, 70s, they about to be up out of here. So regardless of how you feel about them, they done did what they had to do. It is what it is. Right? So now it is on us and the following generations to either you're gonna make more than the last generation, you're gonna build, or you're gonna sit here and discredit and strip down whatever it is that they did. I don't care, like, again, I don't know. If I don't know a perfect person. If you know a perfect person, let me know, because I ain't never met a perfect person, right? I've never met one, right? So again, give people if you don't like them, if you don't like what they did, just shut up, right? Because there are people out there that have worked to leave behind. I don't want to necessarily say a legacy, right? I want to say a blueprint on what you can do. Your Maynard Jacksons, Coretta Scott King, I think, what you say, Mary Lou Hamer, is it Mary Lou Hamer? I think it's Mary Lou Hamer. And the list goes on. The first millionaire, the Tulsas, the Rosewoods, the Wilmington, North Carolina, the even what Lake Lanier, what we call current day Lake Lanier, and the list goes on, right? Those legacies, those people, those things, that have been stripped from this land should not be looked at as like, oh my goodness, that we like. One of the conversations was like, oh, you can't say that we came over here on boats. It's just not scientifically possible. Okay, well, it wasn't scientifically possible for Fannie Lou. Yeah, it wasn't scientifically possible for Columbus to discover America, but yet and still, that's what the story was told, right? And that wasn't possible, right? So I mean, the list goes on. The disrespect is totally insane to me, and I think there needs to be like really true. Maybe I should do a true like series and start posting stuff in the community channel, and you all can share that stuff out however you see fit, this, that, and the other. But I just really had to address that. Like, what, like, where are we going? Like, okay, so what's the next step? We didn't come over, blah 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 blah. What's the next step, right? We always have these echo chambers of nothingness that doesn't get to building the wealth. It is totally insane to me that we're not even getting to we'd be so caught up in what we think happened in history that we can't even move forward to talk about, well, here's what the plan needs to be, right? Whatever your belief system is, if the woman should work or stay at home, or whatever the case may be, or you want to be a stay at home dad or whatnot, or hell, you may have stay at home parents. Shit, y'all might both stay at home because you work home from remotely. Whatever the case may be, whoever make the most money, well, I really don't care, right? What I care about is you don't become the stat. Like in this group, you don't become the stat, right? I started to label this show 756. And type 756 in the chat. There's a reason for that. Type 756 in the chat. There's a reason that number is important. Now I'm gonna show you why that number is important. Show you why 756 is important. It's a reason why that number is important. All right. So we get into these echo chambers, right? And I'm so tired of people talking about these little funky ass stats. But I'm gonna give y'all some stats today, right? We're tired of it. All right. So I was doing some math, right? Just some math. All right. So 45,000. That's what they say the average black man makes, right? And we just gonna keep it without any state income tax, right? So 3152 after you take out income taxes divided by 12 comes out to 26.25 a month, right? 26.25. Let me write that down. 26.25. Oh, that being bad. 26.25, right? Then they say what the average black woman makes what 32,000 a month. That's what I mean a year, not a month. And let's multiply that by zero point 0.7, and then let's divide that by 12, and that's 1866. I'll make sure I did my numbers right. I might have did 35 for the month. So 26.25 for the men and 1866 for the women. 759. That's what it was. 759. So the difference between a monthly income for a black man and a black woman that we argue about, just to put this in perspective, is $759. That's what we argue about. We literally sit up here and argue about the black man makes more than the black woman, so she needs his resources. So we're sitting up here arguing that she needs $759 extra every month, right? So if she worked, or even if it's the opposite, if the woman made 45 and the man made 32, if he or she worked an extra shift or overtime or picked up, I don't know, a DoorDash or two, whatever, it's $759. Again, I keep arguing like hashtag we too broke to argue. I literally really be meaning that. Like $759, that's what we arguing about. Do you know that it costs, I think it's $845 for the 849 for the Skybox Delta Sky Club thing? You spend $800 on you take two red hat exams, they $400 a piece, right? That's literally what we're arguing about. Like this shit is crazy to me. Like that's crazy to me, right? It don't even the math ain't math in this, as they say. It don't make sense, right? That we sit up here and have that conversation. That's what we're arguing about. $759. Like, come on. We gotta do better than that. So, in order to help you do better than that, I got some stuff that I want to share with you. So, I watched The Money Guy, right? And they have on here what they call the order of operations. All right. These are the guys that we went over and watched last week. I have some more stuff from them this week, and I got some other stats that came out from the Social Security office because again, we get in these echo chambers and we don't even understand. So, and I'll let me talk about this, and then we'll talk about the Social Security office and why I pulled up those stats for you. Right. All right, financial order operations. Knowing exactly what to do to grow your money can feel like a mystery. Turns out money does have an instruction manual. These 9 tried true steps will help make you the most of your money. I'm gonna drop this actual PDF inside of creating wealth, and then we'll in the Slack channel. That's where it'll be at. Um, I have to see about posting it in the community tab, because with the community tab I have to create a picture and then I have to then put the PDF. No, I can't put a. I don't think I could put a PDF. I gotta double check on that one. Let me see what you talking about. D. All right, all right. So let me also check the stuff. It says not to divert or distract from what you're saying, but life in 22 is so tough. Average house price in Cali is 800. Yeah, the average house in Cali is 800. It is the average home here in Longmont is $940,000. The average the and I said I was gonna do a video. I was gonna get my handheld out and walk down the street, show you the new townhomes that are going up, and those new townhomes that are going up are starting at in between 5 to 700,000. Right, I was gonna walk down the street to show that these new townhomes out here are going up. And in fact, it's so funny. I was on the phone with a friend of mine yesterday because I was like, man, I'm looking for a new home, and I was like, I follow some people online, and I'm a part of this group, and they're all out of Utah. And I was like, what the hell is in Utah? Like, like what can $1 million get you in Utah? What does it look like? What is $1 million? What's 1 million to 2 million get you in Utah? What are the housings looking like? What is that? What does that seem? So I did a, an analysis between Utah, Florida, Georgia, and Colorado, and I'm gonna do one on Wyoming. I'm gonna make a video about it, just show like the conversations and what people are doing in other states that you may not even think about or what have you. Like in our conversations need to shift from a lot of things. And so I just want to give that. Yep, Longmont, Colorado. Yep. All right, so here's their financial order of operations. Deductible coverage, they're talking about insurance. Here they're talking about employer match, where they're saying, hey, if you're getting a match on your 401k, take the match, max it out. And then there's another video that talks about the backdoor Roth IRA. And I want to talk about it. Yeah, I have to come out there and check it out, and see what's popping, right? Um, yeah, I gotta check it out. I don't know why this changed. D, can you go back? You changed it. Can you go back? All right. High interest rate debt, meaning any credit card or high interest debt that you have, pay that off. Set up emergency reserves. Okay, so this is kind of funky, right? When we talk about emergency reserves, because where do you put your money at? We all saw the information about Wells Fargo this week, right? How they were, of course, we already heard about the fake accounts they was making, but we also heard about the fake interviews they were having as well too, right? So, like where do you put your emergency reserve money, so it can make money? And some people don't like doing emergency reserve. Some people like, excuse me, doing blue chip investments where they'll have well, yeah, blue chip investments where they'll buy just blue chip stock, and when they got an emergency they just sell the stock because they're putting their money in the market. This is not financial advice. I'm just telling you what I've seen other people say that they do. And then some people like that's too risky. They just want to put it somewhere and let it sit there. Some people don't even put their money in the stock market. They just got it sitting in an account somewhere. But again, I've seen people say they got 6 months. I've seen people say they have a year. I've seen people say they have 2 years. Figure out what works for you. Right? Figure out what works for you. Figure out what works for you and your other. Just make sure you have something or an ability to have something, right? And the only way you're gonna have the ability to have something, you're gonna have to make money to put money away, right? You gotta make money to put money away. Here they're talking about a Roth or a HSA. Some of you don't have HSA, you have FSAs, but you don't have to wait on your employer to have an HSA account. You can create an HSA account outside of your employer. So that's another option. Max out retirement, right? Max it out. Max out your 401k. Hyper accumulation. Type in the chat what you think that means. Let's go pull up my um thing here. Hyper accumulation. Type in the chat what you think that means. Type in the chat of what you think hyper accumulation means. Now this is their term from the money guy. You see, as I typed in accumulation, that it popped up, right? All right, so let's go in here and see what they say on hyper accumulation, right? Let me blow that up. See, Roth IRA, HSA contributions are maxing out other retirement options like your 401 have begun hyper accumulating. The ultimate goal is to be saving 20 to 25% of your gross income in retirement. 20 to 25% of your gross income in retirement. Gross. You hear that word, right? Right? All right, so let's go over here and let's pull back up our calculator here. And all right, so let's just play I don't want to be the bearer of bad news like people say I am. Let's do the 45,000, and let's do 20% of your income. So that's $9,000 divided by 12, which comes out to 750 a month. So $9,000 for the year, 750 gross. This is all gross. This is before tax. This is pre-tax. So you should be putting away 750 a year. I mean a month. So let's go back to our numbers. 45,000 times point 0.7, and then let's divide that up by 12, 26, 25, right? And let's go ahead and take out what I say the number was? Was it 790? I forget. I think it was 790. 790 or 780. Not that one. So you left with $835. 1835 is what you're left with. Average rent, depending on where you're at, is what by let's I'm gonna be generous and say 1,200. I know it's more than that, but I'm gonna be generous and say 1,200. Right? And so you left with 635. You haven't paid a car note, right? You haven't paid a car note yet. Let's say you don't have a car note. You got a bucket. But you got liability. So I'm gonna give you that, right? And you still haven't paid your electricity bill and your cell phone bill. So electricity and cell phone, we're gonna go and call that a $200 bill between the two. I'm being generous because I'm sure you take hot showers and you probably leave some lights on, right? Unless you're walking around by candlelight at night, right? Um, the, see, groceries, everything high, right? Unless you got some eggs, some chickens in the back, and you clucking and wringing necks, right? That's how they do it, right? When you get the chicken, you wring the chicken neck like that, right? So I'm gonna go ahead and subtract off 200, right? This for the month. I just say for the week. It's for the month, all right? So you left with 235. I didn't take out stuff for insurance and I didn't take out for state income tax. So I'm just trying to put it out there, be a little realistic about how things operate if you're operating in accumulating wealth mindset, right? Right. That's on your 45,000, right? All right. So the other one is prepaid future expenses and low interest debt. Now, this prepaid future expenses, I'm not sure what they mean on this one. I got to go back and look at the video. They do have a video for this. What's going on, Savage Scientist? But I think here what they're actually talking about prepaid future expenses is like literally putting some money on like a prepaid card. So if future expenses come, it's just a prepaid card just sitting there. No, there's a thing on some of these prepaid cards that they automatically start being after you activate them, they'll delete some money. So you got to be careful on that one. So I'm sure there's some that don't do that, right? I'm not sure about NetSpend and those other ones, but I'm just throwing it out there. But they do have a video on this, right? And a little bit more about that, right? All right, so let's go over here to the next one that I thought was super important was the 10 Commandments of creating wealth. The 10 Commandments of creating wealth, right? I think it's very telling of what type of guys there are. They're out of Tennessee, so it's very telling what kind of guys they are. I mean, you do. I'm in your social circle. You come here, I'm in your social circle. I mean, all right. So check it out. So live on less than you make. All right. So let's go back to our. Like, I gotta keep pulling up the calculator because I like to put some things in perspective here. Live on less than you make. So we got 26.25 for the month, right? And let's divide that by two. So basically, they say live on less than you make. What I'm gonna say is, can you live off of $1,300 a month? Because you're gonna take the other 1,300 and you're gonna invest it. Can you live off of $1,300 a month? Say, can you and your spouse or you and your significant other live off of $1,300 a month? No government assistance. We're not getting EBT. We're not doing food stamps. Hopefully, everybody has all their faculties and everything is okay. She's a stay-at-home wife. $1,300 a month. Can you do it? You're gonna take the other 1,300 and you're gonna put it away, right? I just want to put things into perspective when we're talking about this. 1,300, 1312. Let me not 1312 and 50 cents. Let me not knock off that $12 because that $12 could be a Wendy's hamburger. Boom. All right, 1312. All right. So when we talk about it, right? I'm just gonna type in average rent in the USA right now. Rent prices, this is a day ago. Rent prices break another record, a record. Horror counter rent even higher than the US average. Rents are rising everywhere. Average rent in 2022 is 1098. Well, that was in 2020. The average rent in one for a one bedroom apartment is 1098. You see, this came out April the 4th. This one came out yesterday. Let's look and see if they got a number in here for me. All right, there it is right here. It says the research and real estate listing company Realtor.com Thursday showing the average rent for a one bedroom apartment in the US is 1675. Boom, done. That money just went to rent. Okay, so we go get affordable housing, right? Maybe we're on the list to get affordable housing. Do we qualify for affordable housing, right? Do we qualify? Let's go with Texas. We're gonna stay in states that don't have state income tax. So 18,000 for very low income for a family size of one, but for a family size of two, the low income is 35,000 median and the very low income. So you don't qualify with two people. You don't qualify. So that government can't save you. Don't save him. He don't want to be saved. Right? All right. So you don't qualify for low income. The average rent is 1675. You make you make 2,600, but let's say you're gonna get that paycheck together. You're gonna put both of them paychecks together. Okay, we're gonna save you. You're gonna put both of them paychecks together. 2625 minus 1675 it was 950. All right, so you got 950. All right, that's left for you and your significant other. If you're by yourself, you still gonna have 950 left because you can't your average rent is 1675. All right. So all right. So what meals are we eating? Banana sandwiches, fruits, very lean diets. What else are we doing? Because we don't have no EBT card. We ain't got no EBT, right? We're hood adjacent. How about that? Hood adjacent. What else? What else? What am I missing? Insurance. Oh, hold on. The most important part of this whole conversation that we've been talking about is wealth accumulation. You need to be paying on your life insurance policy, right? Right. Hopefully you get that through the job, or you got a job that offers you life insurance, right? Right. Right. You need this. So you do you just stick with the life insurance at the job, or do you have life insurance outside of that? Right? You got some term policies, right? What we doing, right? What we doing? I'm just saying, right? So there's a reason why I keep pressing the issue of skilling up. There's a reason. So let's go look at these order of operations. I mean, these 10 commandments. Live on less than you make. We saw 45,000, and we tried. I'm encouraging you to live off of 1,300, but I know it's hard out there. It's getting hard out here for a pimp. I got it. All right, so make your money work harder than you. I say this all the time. Make your money work for you. 2,600. I'm not getting married or having kids. This is single and struggling. It is right. Make your money work harder than you too. Cherish your time. Time is your most valuable resource, and it is the single element that can make wealth creation easy. And we're gonna really get into some stuff today. I'm really probably gonna hurt some feelings, and I don't care, but I'm just really probably gonna hurt some feelings, right? All right, so partner with compounding interest, right? Compounding interest is incredible when it's working for you, and demoralizing when it's working against you. Make sure compound interest is working for you, right? Make sure you're working for you. Don't compare yourself. Don't get in there and start comparing yourself like what this person got. I don't have this, that, and the other. That's not your journey. That's not your life. That's not your paycheck. That's not your gross income. That's just something somebody else got, and you need to worry about you. Worry about yourself. All right. Don't compare yourself. Someone will always have more than you do. Comparison is a thief of joy. Right. Six, be content. Be purposeful in determining what makes you happy. Work to hone the skills of enough and fulfillment. I don't know about enough skills of enough and fulfillment. I'm saying be get all the skills you can so you can make and move how you want to, and make the money that you want when you want it and how you want it. Right? Know your why. Why exactly do you want to build wealth, and why do you want to have certain financial goals? Know your why, but also make sure you are sharing your why with the person that you're with. I hear a lot of this about uh she need to be a helpmate. Help with what? What are we helping with? If you ain't sharing your ideas and you don't have no plan, what we helping with? Help what? I love it. This is my favorite. This is my favorite one that everybody like to talk about, right? This is my favorite. This is my favorite one. This had me cracking up last night. It was like you could tell some of these women ain't homeowners until they have to get out there and cut the grass. Until she has to get out there and mow the lawn. You mean that Honda Mower that you can get from Home Depot or Lowe's with the self propelling? You just push it and you just go that one. Ciao, bye. I'm like, and if she make enough money, she can hire somebody. Like, come on, stop, right? Stop. I think everybody should be a homeowner before they get married. That's what I think. I think every man and every woman should own a home. And I'm not talking about no condo. I'm talking about get you a house and own you a house before you get married. I think every woman and every man should do that, right? I think that should be like a thing, right? Because now when you get in the house, y'all get in there together, y'all really be like, oh, my guy. This grass gotta be cut. Who going that conversation changes. That conversation shits because now she gotta understand it. He gotta understand what it takes to be in a household. Like you gotta understand. Yeah, whatever, right? That's just my personal thought, right? Y'all, I think a true test is be like, do you owned a home for at least a year? If you have not owned a home for at least a year, I don't care nothing about you renting out a house. No, mm-mm. I need for you to be your name is on the loan. Your name is on the loan. I need for you to do that, right? Because then it changes the thought process too, and the mindset about saving and what's important, what's not. We don't need that. We don't need that cable. We got Netflix. We got Netflix and chill. Whatever ain't on Netflix, you ain't watching. You better get you some YouTube, right? That's just my personal thoughts. I think it changes the game. I think it changes how you look at you know what how the household will be ran. Y'all have an easier conversation, especially if she don't like she or he has been like, yeah, make sure the rent is paid, doubling up on the principal, doubling up on a double payment. Like, girl, you ain't got no money for no Gucci bag. You better go put that on that principal, right? Like, that's just all I'm saying, right? That's all I'm saying. Oh, you know what? Down to earth, I believe in hiring people too. Let me tell you about hiring people. You got to show the hell up, right? You can't cut my grass on Tuesday and you're supposed to come back the following in the next 2 weeks and then we forgot about you. And I didn't have people come, men from every race, to come over to cut my grass and don't even show up. They don't show back up. They forgot. We know you live too far away for us to be in the rotation. Oh, I done had people come over there and burnt my grass up, they torched it, and I had all kind of stuff done in my grass, right? And all I can say is when I was cutting it and take care of, I ain't had these problems. No, listen, I done had them all. Like I done had patches of whole patches of grass. And the last little man, I mean, no offense, um, D gonna be like you so shitty in the back. But anyway, last little man came over to do my lawn. He messed it all the way up. He stopped working one job and then tried to go out on his own. We tried to support him. We're like, hey man, we see you out here starting your own business. Let us buy trucks for you, right? And come in on the business side to help you grow your business. Get some training people. We'll put some training material together so that way you ain't out doing the work. Because right now you're self-employed and you're missing out on stuff, right? So his truck went out of commission. He had them burnt and rotisserie gold my grass, and then we had to get patches put in, and then had to get that of course you got to make sure the sprinkler system set up. Shout out to D for making sure the sprinkler system set up just correctly. We had to fire him. I had to fire the man. I wanted to help the man, but I had to fire him. D said as soon as I started flirting with him, that's when it all went bad. I can't help it. He was distracted by sexy T. That ain't my fault. Talk to my mama and my daddy. All right, so let's get back to it. All right. So know your why. Don't take shortcuts, right? Build wealth is surprisingly simple, but it isn't easy, and there are plenty of distractions along the way. A lot of distractions, you know a lot of distraction. Always be learning. Don't I say that? Always up your skills, right? And take advantage of the abundance cycle, meaning there's a cycle of abundance of in terms of the for them it's the stock market when things are up, buy the dip, accumulating, right? That's what they're talking about there, right? So I want to have that. All right. So One of the things we talked about with the 70K last week was real estate, right? So if I had the 70K and I had a year in order to do that, in order to make that money work, what would I do? Right. So one of the things I wanted to bring up was this is one of the things I've been following with bigger pockets is the burst strategy, BRRR, right? And the burst strategy is buy a house, rehab it, refinance it, repeat. So, one of the key things about this method that goes unsaid is you want to look for, and this is not financial advice, so you can go on bigger pockets and watch this, all this as well. But you do in this case, because we're talking about 70,000, you do want to look for a house that has equity in it, right? And so you could use things like prop stream in order to find out how much equity, who owns, when it was sold, so forth and so on, how much equity is in that house, right? Um, and then you want to use the worksheet. So they actually have a worksheet. So let me log in. I might be logged in already. Hold on. Let me go here. Let me go over there. They got there is a bird calculator. Yeah, I'm logged in already. Um, so here, this is the bird calculator. So I was doing a report on a location, this location here on Zillow. We can Covington. Let me see Zillow. Um, 314. It should pop right up. Um, this one here. They just had a price cut too, right? It's a 2-1. There ain't much to it, right? But I looked at it. I looked it up. This is the house, right? So how much rehab would you think they need to go into this house, right? So I looked it up. I think it's $127,000 in equity in this house. The person who bought this house bought it $52,000 cash back probably like 2 years ago. They got it out here for 119 in the area. It's been going between 90,000 to 220, I think it is. I think it was. I think it was between 90 to 225 right there. As what the latest comps that are at, right? So basically they're trying to double their money. They're trying to get their money back. But what have they done to the property, right? To double their money, to get their money back. What's in the area and so forth, right? So I kind of walk just virtual pictures, walk through here, looking at the carpet, looking at the window sills, looking at the door. Is that new paint, old paint? Looking at the ceilings, looking at the ceiling fans. Look what's going on here with this fireplace. You know, let's see. Um, does it have a garage? What does the backyard look like? What is the actual bathroom like right here? What is this right here? Is this space or is this dirt? What is that? Should that be ripped out? Like where's the bar at to go across so you can close this off? What's this? Did they recaulk this? Face plates need to be replaced. Looking at the lights, what's going on here? How old is this vanity? Can we do some little upgrades? Did they put down this tile in here? What's going on with that? And then we'll go out and look at the kitchen, right? Look at the kitchen, right? I wouldn't even put this out here like here, right? Um, Hey, Eminem, I can't help it. We talked about 70K, right? And so now we're looking at the kitchen. Kitchen, we need a new kitchen. We need a new stove. We don't have no refrigerator. Maybe we can paint the cabinets here, this, that, and the other. So what are we all in for? I don't know what's happening right here on this wall right here. What is this door right here? Why is this frame looking like this? So again, you start doing the numbers, right? You start doing the numbers. You start, no, here's a hookup for washer and dryer. So you need to get a washer and dryer, right? And then here's the back lot. So this lot is 0.28 acres, and so forth. So what's in the area? What's going on? There's a big tree stump right here. Is that going growing under the house? Whatever. You know, what does that look like? Just looking at stuff. So again, like I say, looking at just different things. You don't have a garage, right? Do you need a new roof? What's going on with the gravel? Why we don't have a garage? Um, where's the property line at? These questions you should be asking, right? So again, back to the actual Burr calculator, they actually go over like things like net steps. Let me click here. You can add a photo. And then they talk about purchase price after repair value. What could you sell it for? What's going? What can you do? You're getting a hard money lender. And then because it's the birth strategy, they have the refinance calculator as well too. So again, this just a little brief thing that you can walk yourself through when you're talking about, hey, how can I make that 70K work for me? What area am I looking in to make that work? How can I utilize um, people in the area to do the work? You get somebody to do the work, and then what all needs to be done. You need to have an inspection and so forth, right? So little things like that are just things that to think about and so forth, right? Tammy, you said you passed on the 2 bedroom, 1 bath. Well, that's true, but again, they bought it for 52,000. They're trying to double their money. It's really like, should you leave the structure up or build something new because it is 0.28 acres. What's new construction going on like there? How long was the time? Was it zoned for? I don't even know what that lot is zoned for, as well too. So that's where you're at. Tam talking about restoring. No, I'm talking about restoring, but she's talking to the artist that made 43. Nah, people make more than that. People make more than that. I ain't say I did. I'm just saying people make no more than that. Yep, quality contractors are key, right? Quality contractors are key. But again, we're talking about one of the things that we had came up with in our strategy, right? We're talking about one of the things that came up with in our strategy on the creating wealth. For those that don't remember and wasn't here with us last week, let me go pull that up because I actually saved it. I actually put the Burr strategy inside the actual chat as well too. Let me find it. Let me see. I know I put it in creating wealth. Oh, here it is right here. All right. Let's see. Save, and let's open it up. All right. And then we're gonna get into some stats. All right, we have 70K after taxes. We got $100,000 sign-on bonus. We had 70K after taxes. We have 1 year. We have 1 year to make this money work. How are we gonna make this money work? We got 70K after taxes, and we have 1 year to make this money work for us. Again, this is all on the premise that you get to the job, you're working it, you don't like the people there, you want to bail early, you may not want to stay the whole year. How are you going to make this 70K work for you? Or you stay there the whole year and realize you don't like them, but you still had this 70K, right? But you got to stay there a year. In some cases, they're 2 years. How are you going to make that money work for you? What you're going to invest in? What's going on, Sam? All right, so we have 70K after taxes. However, remember, if you leave before the year, you're not returning 70K, you're returning 100K because they took off money for taxes. And also, if you're in a state income tax location where that state income tax is going to come out to. So this is just another FYI, right? All right. So, but your base salary for this job is 400K. The job we were looking at was 600K, right? And we're saying that they give you 100K in a sign-on bonus, right? And so that puts you in the 35% tax bracket as a single person and 32% if you're married. Shout out to being married. At least you saved me 3%. You too can save a lot by switching to Geico, right? So your take home a month, again, in a location that doesn't have income, I mean, doesn't have income tax, is $22,000 a month. Now, that conversation we had earlier, well, can we live off of one paycheck? Can you live off of one paycheck here and invest the rest? Can you live off $11,000 a month and invest the rest? Don't put in here about the girl on TikTok. I already broke that down. 117K is not $10,000 a month to live off of. That's $10,000 gross. This is after taxes, right? This is after taxes, right? This is after taxes, right? All right, so we came up with like last resort, what options, life insurance, watches, Rolex, and I added this to boat rentals, laundromats, vending machine, Turo, car rental, stocks, crypto, fund, buy a business, accredited investors, and a group of friends. And I put real estate under here because you probably could use like a life insurance policy or something like that, a whole life insurance policy to use to take a loan out to do a down payment on it or what have you. So you pay yourself back. You write your own promissory note to the company, pay yourself back that 5% in which you're charging back. Or you can do a private lender, or you can use your business and go through your PayPal or what have you. There are multiple ways to skin this cat to do this down payment that you're doing for this particular house. You can do a duplex. You can buy land. You can do a house because buy a house or what have you. Something that appreciates over time. Something that you're going to get in and out of. Are you going to hold this asset? Are you going to rent this asset out on Airbnb where you're looking at location, 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 right? Just some. There are other thoughts that I have that I'm going to keep adding to this, and I'm going to keep uploading this and so forth. And maybe I do a show about it, or we'll put it on our website or something. I don't know. I don't know where it's going to land, but I just keep going over what this could look like for you, right? All right. So enough about that. We talked about the birth strategy. We talked about the 10 Commandments of accumulating wealth. We also talked about the order of operations. We also talked about the 759. 759 is the difference between 45,000 and 32,000 a month. I don't want to hear any more conversations about how $45,000 ain't broke because $32,000 between 32 and $45,000 a month is 759, right? I don't want to hear this conversation no more, right? Kind of over that. All right, so let's get into some stats. And let me pull this up episode, right? All right. Oh, it's gonna go there. Okay, hold on. Let me go to Slack and pull this out because I got it saved in my Slack. It's actually a PDF. And this is coming from the Social Security office. So let me pull this up right here. It's a new release, right? And let me blow it up. All right, this came out April the 15th of 2022. And Tony B was on the stream last night, and I promised her I was going to go over some other stats. So let me pull this over here too. We've been over this before, but uh, the average net worth for an African American. We're gonna talk today, right? Might hurt some feelings, but it's okay. You just know to get better. Thank you, Donald Watts, for becoming a member. Thank you, Donald Watts, for becoming a member. Thanks for everybody for becoming a member as well too, right? All right, so I think Intentional Millionaire was in the chat. I know he and I wanted to do some stuff, and he wanted to drop the link, but we're gonna drop the link for intentional millionaire after this particular one, if he is still in the chat or whatnot, and we're gonna let's get into the stats from the Social Security office, right? All right, so I don't know if y'all know. I don't know if y'all know about what goes on with the Social Security office or what happens, right? So people do who do come over here from war torn countries do get 7 years of assisted assistance from the Social Security office to help them get on their feet. 7 years, right? 7 years. Let me look that up because I don't want you to think I'm out here telling you lies, fairy tales, and fallacies. Uh, mm, mm, mm. Let me open that up over here and then let me come over here. Let me read this one. That's a bulletin. I'm not. I forget how much they get though, but they get money for being from war torn countries. Yep, war torn countries. I'm just being honest. I'm not. Hey, I'm just telling you what happens. We talking about the Social Security office. The documents two coming to illustrate essential roles of NGOs in reconstruction of war torn countries. Oh, let me pull it up. I'm gonna have to go dig on their site. I'm gonna have to dig on their site. Let me look at this here. This came out in this Bosnia, blah 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 blah, woo woo, contract, da 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 da. I'm gonna show you what I'm reading. I'm just looking at this right here. I'm trying to see uh, where we da 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 civilian war benefits program. This came out in '97, but I'm looking for the stats of telling you exactly how much one gets. I'm gonna pull it up. I know who to ask. I know exactly who to ask. On that. Yep, 7 years. So, um, the first question I'm gonna ask is, how many of you have been to the Social Security SSA.gov and created your account and downloaded what your Social Security is predicted to be and what it is, and we're gonna talk about some predictions that you can go look up and so forth. Um, you need to know that because there's also part of your wealth accumulation and your wealth creation, um, and we're gonna get into that, right? All right, so let me make this a little bigger here. Make it widescreen there. That's a little better. All right, it says the median weekly earnings of the nation's 117.5 million full-time wage salary workers is 1037 in the first quarter of 2022. Right? The U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics reported this was 4.9% higher than a year earlier compared to 8% in the Consumer Price Index, CPI. All right, so it also says here the median earnings of full-time workers were 1037 in the first quarter. Women had a median earning of 939 or 83.2% of the 11 median for men. The women to men's ratio varied by race and ethnicity. White women earned 83.1% of their male counterparts compared with 93% for black women, 93.2% for black women. So I guess our male counterparts would be black men. So we are earning more, if you want to look at it like that. We're earning more on the dollar compared to our counterparts, which would be black men, and black and white women are earning 83.1, but we're out earning them on the dollar for white women, for black women. And then 85.2% for Asian women, looks like they're earning more, and 84.5% for Hispanic women. So that's, I don't know, is that an indication that white women are working less or they're not earning as much? What does that actually mean? Right? So among the major race and ethnicity groups, median weekly earnings of blacks is 840, and Hispanics is 799. Working full-time jobs were lower than those of whites, which is at 1064, and Asians, which is at 1362. This goes back and says the truth about this article here that we were talking about here, where the Asians are out earning whites. So our comparison is not with the whites, it's with the Asians, because the Asians are out earning the whites. And that's indicative of what that last report, which is why I brought it back up, because this ties all in back into that report. All right, so let's get back to it. It says that by sex, median earnings for black men is $870, or 75.8% of what white men earn weekly is 1148. So we can do the numbers on that. I got my calculator here. So I had to keep bringing that screen down. So we got 870 by men times 52. So that's $45,240 for black men. And for white men, it is 1148 weekly, right? 1148 by 52. It's 59,696. All right, so roughly about 60,000, 45,000, 65,000, right? So, I mean, 45,000, 60,000. So 60,000 minus 45,000, oops, um, is $15,000 less. So black men are earning $15,000 less than their white counterparts, right? According to this. And it says Hispanic men earnings, weekly earnings is 866. So black men is 870, Hispanic is 866. The difference was less among women, as black women median income, median earnings is 811, right? And those of white women is 954, and those of Hispanic is 732. But the earnings of Asian men at 1452, and women at 1237 were higher than those of their white counterparts, right? Higher than those. So 811 times 52, 42, 172. All right, it's not 32,000 no more, it's 42,000. All right, and when we're talking about Asian women, 1237 by 52, they're at 64,000. Asian women are at 64,000. So, I mean, if y'all want to get up, to the next level or whatever, you go over there, whatever. I'm not landing no plane. You can always click off, even if you can click off. You click off. By age, usual weekly earnings were the highest for men at age 35 and over. So, by age, usually weekly earnings were the highest for men at age 35. So, 35, right? All right, the median earnings were 1257 for men between the ages of 35 to 44, and 1274 for men the ages of 45 to 54, and 1246. So you're not getting that, you're going down. between 55 and 64, and I guess that's retirement, right? And 1281, 1281 for the 65 and older. I guess that's when retirement get in. All right, so that says, hey, ladies, between the men between age 55 and 64 does not between 55 and 64, they're making less than the men at 65. So ladies, you should aim for 65 and older. 65 and older is gonna be your thing. All right. I'm just putting the stats out there. I'm just putting the stats out there. All right. You want to be at 65 and older. Looks like they 1281. Now you know it takes 28 years to to become a millionaire. 28 years. It's I think now it's 27. It's been fluctuation between 27 28 years, right? So if you don't get started to 30 and you got 28 years, so roughly 30 years. So between 55 and 64, I guess you can start dating them about 55. And when he hit retirement at 65, I guess that annuity or those benefits keep in, that's gonna be your 60 your moment, right? Just putting it out there. Also, it's among women, usually weekly earnings were the highest for workers between 35 to 50 to 64. 35 to 64. That's a long span, right? It says usually, okay, okay, I get it. 35 and over. And then for us, it's 35 to 64. Weekly earnings were 1037 for women between 35 to 44, 1063 for women ages 45 to 54, and 997 for women in 55 to 64, which is indicative of what we see here, right here, for 55 to 64. Wonder what happens with women over 65. I don't see that on here. Wonder what happens with women over 65. Men and women between the ages of 16 to 24 had the lowest, right? All right, so let's get down here. It says among the major occupational groups, persons employed in management, professional, and related occupations had the highest median earnings at 1657 for women and 1268 for men. Now, I want to say this in this study, they are going to really go over what is it like for you to get a high school diploma versus you getting a college degree. So if you got a high school diploma, you're not going to fare as well in the long run, in the long run, as someone who has a college degree, right? And the stats are showing that, and they have showed that consistently. I'm sure there are outliers, but we're only going with the facts. We're not going with what everybody else is talking about, right? I don't know. A Sim, I don't know why you entertaining I don't know why you entertaining that hogwash. All right, so among the college graduates, it says, okay, let's back up. Full-time workers age 25 and over without a high school diploma had a median earning of 670 compared to those with a high school graduate, no college at 827. So we got to at least be encouraging. The minimum is kids, you need to graduate from high school. You need to graduate from high school. Let's start there. Let's get our minimum there, right? And it also says that, and 1525 for those that at least are holding a bachelor's degree. So if you're gonna go to high school and no college, your median is gonna be around about 827, but it doubles if you get a college degree. It doubles if you have a college degree. Among the graduates with advanced degrees, master's, professionals, and doctorate degrees, the highest earning 10% of male made more than 4,800 a week. 4,800 a week compared to 3099 or 3,099 or more for their female counterparts. And then they got a table down here that kind of shows all of this. Then go through their definitions. We're gonna skip that. But then here's the table. They talk about median usual weekly earnings of full time wage and salary workers by sex. quarterly averages and seasonally adjusted. And this is in 2013. Here's 2022 down here, um, right here. And let me see, that looks a little small. I'll blow it up a little bit more. Well, I want to keep it on the screen too. All right, there you go. For 2022. And so here, if we scroll back up at the top, um, the number of workers, men and women, right? And then the current numbers for men and women, right? So these are two columns that we want to focus on right here. So this is men at 11:18 and women at 9:37. Yep. The highest 10%, 4,800 a week. That's 250K a year. Yeah. Yep. So that's why I'm encouraging the 200, right? The 200. Let's get at least get to the 200. All right. Let me pull this back down so we can see what we're looking at. So I can read it. Median usual weekly earnings of a full-time wage and salary workers by selected characteristics. So they got here, they broke this down a little bit more between sex and age, race with Hispanic or Latino and sex. So here, let me scroll here. This is in current dollars. This is 2021's first quarter. This is 2022's first quarter. And we can see the men were at, for black men, it was 834 for men in the first quarter of 2021. You increased to 870. Women were at 768 in 2021, and they increased to 811. All right. But look at the big difference between not Hispanics, but Asians here. Look at that number. And then if you come back up here and look at the white household or median, right? It's totally different. Asians are killing it, right? So there's more of that. Let's scroll down. All right. So here they're saying that the management, professional, and related occupations, management, business, and financial operation occupations, and then professional and related occupations. Now, I think professional and related occupations is kind of general. I don't know what we're going to classify that as. Is that people who contract or so forth? I'm not sure how they're classifying that, right? But they have a list of occupations that the men do and how they're getting paid, and the list of occupations that the women do and how they're getting paid. And I can also drop this link so y'all can study it on your own. Quarterlies. Let me look here. Da, 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 da. They got that, and that was primarily it. Right, it was 10 pages. The median usually weekly earners are part time and salary workers by selected characteristics, and they break down the part time work, what you're earning here, part time, and this is numbers in the thousands. So your weekly earnings is 299 and 305, right? 299 and 305. So weekly, what's that? 300 times four. So there's that. Picking up that part time job, that 759 that I was talking about. You can pick up a part time job and make that up, right? We need to aspire bigger than 250 because I believe 250 is a for. I do too. But if I talk about 250 or 300 or 400, you know how that go. Uh, oh yeah. All right. So let's get that. I don't know if D, you could drop the link, but I don't know if Tim is still in the chat. I don't know if Tim is still. I don't know if Intentional Millionaire is still out there. All right. So let me close this out. But that's the stats that come from the Social Security office. Like I said, y'all had to check out the stats from the Social Security office. Y'all really want to see what the world is, the U.S. itself is actually doing. All right. So here, so this I went over this before, but this is I think I went over this a couple months ago, about a month or two ago, right? So it says well, African Americans account for 17%. Oh yeah, come on up, Tim. African Americans account for 17% of it. We've moved up in the world. Hallelujah. And we're not 13% anymore. Hallelujah. All right. And Tim. I dropped the link in the chat in the back of the in the private channel. All right. So we moved up in the world. So, and I went over this before. Let me get my notes here. I went over this before, but let's go back over this again. And let's do calculator. Because in this article, it talks about oh, it was another article. It was the article from Black Enterprise where they talked about the average they talked about 30% of African Americans are living below really 30,000, right? So when we talk about this, I'm gonna put this down right now. And then when we talk about this, we have to really kind of quantify. So it's 41.9 million African Americans, um, and what that looks like, right? So basically, the number comes out because I did the numbers. It comes out to about, uh, if I remember correctly, 12.5 million African Americans are struggling. That's really what it comes out to, right? And then when I say struggling, we're talking about below 32,000, right? So let's get into this. All right, so we account for 17%, and so forth, and then you got this, and let me click that out. And they just kind of went over some stats here, but let's get into the stats. The stats here say, according to the Urban Institute, the average net worth of African Americans, um, got feedback there too. That African Americans is 19,000 compared to whites at 130,000 and 12,000 for Hispanics, right? And they showed this here, and this is from 1998 to 2013, right? But now let's look at the Economic Policy Institute data for median and Tim, how you doing up here? I sent you the link too if you got it. Oh,
What's
you
going
on?
on, Tam? How you doing?
I'm all right, man. How you doing? Are you still driving?
Yeah, so I actually had to make some stops in between to see my niece. So I ended up staying and then getting on the road this morning. So
All right, cool. Well, don't let us hold you up if you gotta
oh
get on the
no, no,
road.
you good, you good. I
Okay.
I, I I just parked, so
Okay.
I just got something to eat. So
Okay. Would you get? Would you get some? You get some chicken fingers? I'm just
nope.
playing.
You funny. Chicken fingers on the salad.
Just checking. Just checking.
Why don't you share the inside joke with the audience?
Oh man, because then I hurt somebody's feelings. I don't want to hurt people's feelings, man. I'm trying to be nice, right? I'm trying to be nice. We're gonna hurt.
we
I'm
gotta
hurt.
call it. We gotta call a spade a spade. We gotta call a
All right,
spade a
all
spade.
right. So true. This really happened. Like we was in Vegas, and Tim and I were all everybody was sitting around talking. I forgot when did I mention the chicken finger story? Right when we were standing around talking.
Right.
Right. And I was like, man, we get tired of like G and I be talking about going out with men, and every time we go to a fancy restaurant or something like that, all the men want to order chicken fingers. So it just so happened it was a conversation that we had prior, and when we got to the restaurant, the guy didn't ride in the car with us or nothing like that. When we sit down and we start ordering food, he's like, "Yeah, I take some chicken fingers." And who was in the car with us busted out laughing. We like, I told you, Tim, every time we go somewhere, don't care what restaurant we may go to, somebody gonna order some chicken fingers. Some man is gonna order some chicken. Ruth Chris, can I get some chicken fingers? Hey, what is up with the chicken fingers? So that's why I asked him, did he stop and get him some chicken fingers, even though I know he is vegan. I just still had to ask. He ordered some chicken fingers.
But no,
Well,
but what was you covering? Because I know you had asked for my input on something, so I want to come up and just kind of share whatever I can share to help out or add to.
all right. So the one thing we covered was the $70,000. If you take 70, if you had a sign on bonus and you got $100,000, and then you had $70,000 and you had to make it work for a year, the quickest thing I could see, or maybe you do some option plays, but that require you knowing how to do options. You have $70,000 to invest, and you would you put it into real estate to make the money work, and where would and what would you do to do that, right? If you want to put it in real estate, you only got a year now. You only got a year to make
Mhm.
this money work. What would be your best suggestions on that?
I will put it into real estate. One of the things is I would see if I can split it across at least no a bare minimum of two properties, and and those properties should have enough equity to meet at least 80% of their initial amount. So in that case, if it's 100,000 between the two properties, it should be 80K in equity. That's kind of how I would strategize it. But in the same token, I will also make sure that the property has equity, but also cash flow to make up for the additional 20%. See,
Now,
and that's another way to do it because that way I know that at the end, I know I'm at least get 80 back when I sell, just assuming the market stays kind of like it is. But also, too, I know right now today I'm getting cash flow.
got you.
So that's kind of how I would strategize it. That's one way, and there's a couple other ways you could do that as well. You could possibly look at being an investor in a bigger project. Maybe if you go in, they may give you a guarantee or preferred rate of return every month until they get to the end of the deal. Then from there, you can get cash flow right now today, as well as you get your initial amount back while you was getting cash flow throughout the duration of the project.
Right. Now, when you're looking, just so you don't have to give all the details, we just gonna keep it real simple. When you're looking for a property, what are like some top three things that you're looking at to say, yes, I'm gonna make the investment into that property?
The top three things I look for, you heard location, location, location. But to get more detail is I look for where it's going to be. Center is it a new is it
You
a power
breaking up,
station?
Tim?
Can you hear
Uh
me?
oh.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, you said
So
location. Then what was the second one?
right. So I specify details, meaning is it near a new shopping center that may has a Kroger or Walmart? Is it near a college, a tech school? Those are some of the things I look for, as well as I look for and make sure that is it close to a hospital. Because I'm gauging the market for people that can afford the house.
Right.
From a rental standpoint, but also from a buying standpoint. Because I go in with twofold, considering both. So if I need to sell, can I sell quickly? But also considering
Hmm.
if I'm a rent, can I make sure the renter and the tenants that I get in there can afford the rent, but also too not going to have issues or not going to lose their job or have job issues later.
Right.
So the same way how we talked about on the stream the other day, where looking for people in the tech field, STEM, things like that. Well, I'm also gauging for people as well on what they do as profession, how long they've been there, so that way I know I got a better chance of them being there longevity, but also too they're not losing their job tomorrow.
Gotcha. So
Mm-hmm.
we got location, we got what is in the area basically,
Mm-hmm.
and then the last but not least, what kind of job are people do people have, and what kind of jobs are in the area as well too, right?
Right. Hmm.
What kind of companies are in the area, right? So, that's what we really want to be focused on. Just again, you said two properties, split that up. Now, on these two properties, are you doing on these two properties? Are you doing a FHA loan, or are you doing 20% down? And then, do you have a certain number, a certain range in which you're looking at?
Well, that will depends on the situation. Most of the time, it probably is going to be a conventional loan. However, if it needs work, then may can see if you can qualify for the 203B rehab loan. Yep.
Right, correct. So, and I think where area you at, I think I don't know if it's wind and it's breaking you up because sometimes you losing packets or whatnot. Um,
Yeah, I see that. I'm going in and out. My mic keep my mic itself keep muting itself, so that means the signal's
oh,
going
that's
in
D
and
probably muting you. That's D probably muting you.
out.
That's D probably muting you. It's all good. But I thank you for coming up. I know you doing your thing and you gotta eat. But feel free if you want to stick around, that's cool. I'm gonna get back to the stats. If you want to do it, if you want to hop off, it's cool as well too.
All right, and I'll be in the chat, so I'll be in the
Okay.
chat kind of here and there, but I definitely wanted just to kind of provide a little bit of insight on that.
Okay.
And another way people could do it as well is you can also consider too, depending on age and if what your financial position is, you could possibly leverage a possibly life insurance as well. It just depends on what you're doing and what your financial makeup is, because you can leverage
Uh-oh.
actually benefit gains, and it's not going to be a taxable event. So,
That sound like a IUL you're thinking about.
uh huh.
Gotcha. Gotcha. We're gonna talk more about it because I got a whole show that we need to do on annuities, and so we need to get together and cover some information and go over that.
Yep.
All
But
right,
yeah, I
cool.
appreciate you as always, and I'm always willing to come up and and provide insight. So keep
I
doing what
appreciate
you're
you for coming.
doing. You all definitely make sure whenever Women in Learning is online, you should always have pen and paper available so you can start taking notes. But also too, when we get on the next stream, ask questions. Because when you
Oh,
ask questions, it helps. It helps
right.
you kind of, it's like the repetition is the key, because repetition helps you regardless of education level, regardless of background. Repetition, you could come in wherever you need to come in and still grasp the information. So,
Correct. And don't forget to share with others. Don't forget to like and subscribe.
yep.
All
All
right,
right,
Tim. I
so I'm gonna go
appreciate
ahead
you.
and head out, Tam, but I don't want to, I don't want to bust off the show, but appreciate you
You
as
all good.
always.
All right, appreciate you too. We'll talk. All right. All right, y'all. So there you have it. Again, just another little angle on that strategy and so forth, so that you all can get a different opinion other than mine. Again, and don't forget, D drop intentional millionaires YouTube channel in the chat. Go check him out. Don't forget to like and subscribe. We did some shows together covering this stuff in Vegas. We did a show covering the Vegas trip about creating a private equity fund, creating a hedge fund, buying a business as well. What does that look like? So again, check it out. We have that on our YouTube channel and on his YouTube channel as well too. So let's get back to it. All right. Get my thing. And I don't know what's going on in the chat. What's going on? Let me address that real quick. What's going on in the chat? Real view. What views are you not getting addressed in this Eminem still in? Hey, real view. Since you say you're not getting heard, click on the link and come up because I don't know what you're talking about. Click on the link and come up, and Eminem, I think y'all had some issues, so there's no better way than just to address the issues right here face to face. So be camera ready, and you can come up. because I have no idea what happened and what was saying, what was going on. What's going on, Shamika? What was the issue? So the link is in the chat. So we can talk about it. You can talk to him about his millionaire. This is what I don't do. Again, I don't ask people, are you confirmed as a millionaire? Show me your W-2, all of that. I don't do that. I let people show what they show. I don't ask people X, Y, and Z, right? Shit, I don't know. Y'all, everybody's still looking for Obama's birth certificate. So, I mean, I don't get into all of that. But click on the link for those that want to come up. If not, yeah, it's 7:59 actually. It was said, yeah, I did. We're gonna get back to it, but for real talk, Eminem, I don't know what the issue was or what you feel like you weren't heard or something like that. Here's your chance to share your thoughts or whatnot. All right, combo and chill with Tommy B. What's going on with you? How you doing, Tommy? Tommy, let me. Tommy, I ain't got. I don't have no. I don't have no tattoos. You funny though, Tommy. You funny. I hear you though, Tommy. You funny though. But yeah, so no, so we good in the chat, no problems. We moderators, we straight. We don't need to address nothing, because we're not here to fight each other. We're here to build with each other. If y'all want to fight, you can go outside and fight. Yep, like Attention Millionaire said, he confirmed, right? So again, I'm not gonna confirm him. You can confirm if you can go from there, right? That's not my thing. But if you come to my meetups and these numbers because people ask me all the time, oh, Tam, you be spewing heart garbage and stuff like that. If you come to my meetup, I show you job offers. Sim was there, a couple of other people was there. I show you job offers. I don't have no problem with showing you job offers, right? In terms of like what the money is, who's paying what, and how they're paying it. All right. So we're gonna get into it some more. All right. So now let's look at the economic policy data for the median and average wealth for whites and blacks. The average net worth of African Americans is 95,000, and the median net worth is just 11,000. Right. But if you look at the average net worth of white Americans, it is 678,000, and ours is 95,000. When I say ours, those that identify as black, dark skin color, melanin, Afro American, Negro, whatever the case may be. I don't know what it is that you all claim these days, or whatever it is that you think about, whatever claiming, whatever the case may be. But that's what it is, right? And then it's the median is 134,000, and the median for blacks is 11. So what is average versus mean? Average versus mean, median, I should say, not mean. The average is calculated by adding up all the individual values and dividing this total by the number of observations. The median is calculated by taking the middle of taking the middle value, the value for which half of the observations are larger than half of the smaller observations, right? So when we look at this right here, it's just saying that this is what our average net worth is as a whole, right, by race. And I want to look and say, I'm not sure if it's a family thing, maybe a family. And then on the median side is 11,000, right? So we got some work to do, right? We got some work to do. Why y'all still talking about timing out, right? Why y'all still talking about that, right? Average income for African Americans. Now let's look at the latest income provided by the Census Bureau. The average income for African Americans is 45,000, and the average income for Hispanics is 56,000, which correlates with the retirement savings by race chart and wealth charts. Have y'all looked at the wealth charts? Have you looked at the saving charts? Have you looked at the 401k charts? You should look at the 401k charts. See, average. by race 401k chart. Right? Average by race for weight 401k chart. Right. This one here is by age, income, gender. And I don't want to do that one because it's not giving the breakdown by race. Let's see. America's wealth. Yeah. Okay, this is 2020. I don't want to do that one, but I may have to go with that. Aerial investments, 401k plan, and living color. Average net worth by age and race. Okay, let's go with this. All right, so let's blow this up some. Okay, the average net worth was roughly about 122,000. All right, cool. 2019. All right, the median net worth of Americans. All right, yeah. Median. I'm looking for 401k. I don't think I'm gonna get it on here, but we're gonna look. All right. Mm, the median net worth of Black Americans is 24,000 in 2019. Yeah, but I'm not getting my 401k. Let me look here. 401k. All right. Yeah. They don't have it on there. I'm gonna look it up. I'll bring it back next week so we can talk about what is the average 401k balance by race. And I've seen it before. It's a huge gap. Okay. Okay, the reasons for huge income disparities is likely due to decades of systematic racism, educational attainment differences, meaning higher degrees, and household structure, single or dual parent. All right, and racial makeup of their readers. Boom, boom, boom. We're gonna skip over that. We're gonna skip over that. All right, so um, this is a solution. We don't want that. There's another one that I had in here that broke down uh everything. Educational attainment varies by race, ethnicity, and nativity. So I'm not sure if this okay, yeah, so with a bachelor's degree or higher, and this is from 2014. That's kind of old. I'm surprised they didn't come like 7 years forward on that. All right, so then here he starts talking about crowd fund rise, and so forth. I'm gonna have to find the other one because I do have another one from Financial Samurai that actually breaks down all the information on by gender for African American men and women, what our take home is, and so forth. Right. So again, we want to keep that stuff in mind. All right, so let's get back into our latest episode. What else did I want to bring to you? All right. So remember last week when I talked about would you tell this was on the other show. Would you tell someone about your wealth? Say you hit the lottery or um, you have set up policies for people. Would you tell someone about the policy and stuff you set up, right? So here we go. I found this interesting. Um, Here, man accused of deleting mother, grandfather to inherit the family estate. Took out mom and grandfather. We don't need them, right? Right. All right. So let's blow this up. All right. In the story, this sounds straight out of a Netflix crime thriller. Nathan Carmen. or Carmen, a 28-year-old Vermont man is being accused of deleting his mother, Linda Carmen, and the grandfather, John Chacolas, to inherit the family fortune. Who is John? All right. Who? Dear John. Da, 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 da. Dear John. Da, 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 da. By the time you read these lines, I'll be gone. All right, so five stunning cases, but who was he? Who was John? All right. Oh, it won't let me click on here. Can I cancel anytime? Yeah, yeah. All right. Let's see. He was arraigned. So this happened back in 2013. See, he deleted his grandfather in 2013, then he deleted his mother as a part of the elaborate scheme to collect millions in inheritance. He allegedly shot his grandfather, who was a developer, so a real estate developer, to Shockley's Windsor, Connecticut home in 2013, and allegedly deleted his mother, Leonard Carmen, which while the two were at sea on a fishing trip off the coast of Rhode Island in 2016. He's charged with first degree in Linda Carmen's death and fraud related offenses connecting to the slaying of them. Right? He was a developer. So let me go back and look at a picture, see if we get some images. That's Nathan Carmen. Well, that's the grandfather. I'm assuming this is the mother here. Now, what was his net worth? What was he expected to inherit? Is the question. And here's the guy. Here he is. Took him out. Right. We took him out. Now, what was the inheritance? Right. That's what I gotta find here. Let's see. First, yep. He Nathan said he had lured his mom on a fishing trip off the coast of New England in 2016. During the trip, the boat they were on sank. Nathan was rescued 8 days later after a commercial ship spotted him floating on a life raft. Her body was never recovered. Um, let's see, the grandfather, as if this case wasn't bizarre enough, the alleged scheme is to inherit the grandfather estate dates back even further. The prosecutors claimed that Nathan was responsible for deleting of his grandfather, a wealthy, okay, they talk about his mom and then the grandfather. But Nathan was never charged, despite denying any involvement in the indictment. In the indictment accuses Nathan of discharging his computer hard drive and GPS unit that had been in his truck the night before. Nathan was also said to have been the last person seen with John. So what was he getting? Nathan spent a lot of time with his grandfather during 2012 and 2013, and John deposited $550,000 into Nathan's bank account, which he quickly spent in a matter of a few years. At some point prior to his deletion, the indictment further alleges that during the same time, Nathan convinced his mother to designate him as the beneficiary of her inheritance, a $42 million estate that was bequeathed to Linda and her three sisters by John. It'd be your own people. It'd be your own people. You already gave him 550,000. We talking about just getting the 200,000. His granddaddy was like, "Sonny boy, here you go, 550 in your account." He run through it. He blow through it. Like, what are you doing? What are you doing? You should you shouldn't do a children's hospital. Set up a scholarship. or set up a foundation to help those, that may need assistance in the children's hospital or something like that. Set up a foundation in your name, right? You can do that too, right? No, no character or not. So this is why I brought this up. I brought this up because, again, like I said, the more money that you're going to make and the more money that you're going to obtain, and the money that we're talking about here, we have to be very careful about who we're talking about that with, right? Character, character is important. It, it could be your husband. I don't know. I don't know. Y'all don't know about these stories because in Atlanta, I don't know if you remember. It's a real famous story about how this black woman, she was married to this white guy, lived in Buckhead. She got flowers delivered to her that day. The guy that delivered the flowers shot her dead in the shot her in the face. It was an elaborate scheme to have her taken out by her husband. Of course, there was an inheritance on that. There was a life insurance policy on that. Leave money for Umar schools. Yeah, funny. All right. So again, uh, just FYI, like when you are looking at your life insurance policies, putting people in place, are they people of good standards, morals, excuse me, and character, right? And stop leaving people, like I said, with all that money and then you don't give them no instructions. It's foolish, foolish, right? So just be mindful. Well, also, like, again, you might want to watch out when somebody be like, "Girl, look, they ain't never cooked for you before," and they be like, "Girl, come over here. I'm having some dinner and stuff made and stuff like that." Switch the plate out. Be like, sit down and switch plates with somebody. I don't know. I'm just saying, just watch your back because people are really rogue when it comes to money, when it comes to wealth, when it comes to having that power, right? So just be very careful with that. All right, so keep it moving. I just wanted to share that with you because I found that one interesting. I was like, really? You're gonna take out your own family? It be your own people. All right, so this one goes back to the Social Security office. All right, so this one, it's a tool. I don't have a Windows box, so it's called the Longevity Visualizer. The Longevity Visualizer, right? Um, the Longevity Visualizer is Social Security's administration chief actuary produces a cohort life tables that project the fraction of the population born in a given calendar year that will remain alive at each annual age in the future, as well as the probability of death. It also talks about in this one here the actual money side. So let me blow this up so you can see what it looks like. So here it says the survival tab allows the queries or on the probability of survival for all future ages for a person of a given birth, year, sex, and current age. In addition, the chart also shows the age at deletion probability distribution. What is the life expectancy of a girl born this year? What is the chance she would live at least 100? User input: born in 2016, your sex is female, your age is 0. Select the distribution of the deletion ages, and expected age of deletion in the box that appears. And then they go on to show you again this where this comes in with your wealth building, because this comes in with your wealth planning, right? So again, people are getting to the age of 65, but they're living 30 to 40 years afterwards. So you've lived 65 years, but now you need to save up enough money in retirement for at least 30 years, 30 to 40 years, to be honest. So what does that look like for you to have after you stop working? And people are working longer, they're actually working to 70. What does that look like for you to have 30 years of retirement? And what lifestyle do you want to live and where do you want to live with 30 years of retirement? Who's going to take care of you? Are you going into a nursing home? Are you going into an assisted living facility? Who's going to pay for it? Who's if you're going to do in-home care, who's going to take care of that? And then let's not also forget about some people um, don't work until they're 65. They get injured when they're in their 20s. They get injured in their 30s. They get injured in their 40s. And so they can't do jobs like they used to. So they need some other type of income as well too. So we have to be mindful of that as well too. You could get hurt at any time. Do you have insurance for that? If you get hurt on at say you get hurt at 32, you driving down the street and something happens, or you get in a car accident or what have you. Life changes just like that. Are you prepared? Do you have something in place that's gonna help assist you with that, right? So it's just something to keep in mind. And then they go on to talk about let's see, this is survival, and then they give just different examples of what that looks like for someone in different ages and so forth. So it's called the longevity visualizer. And it has 6 tabs. It says the probability of deletion, multi cohort survivor, gender gap, joint survivability, and basic functions. And this runs on a Windows box. So you probably spin up a VM and with Windows on it and go from there, right? I just thought it's something you should have because when we talk about wealth uh, accumulation and wealth building, you also need to be preparing for after retirement to live the 30 to 40 years after retirement. All right, so what's the next one? The next one is this. Um, I found this one really, really interesting because, and then I want to, I want to pull up a thing. D, how much time I got? Am I stopping right now? No, let me go back to the chat. Where's my thing? Oh, here it is. Let me go back. Mm. D's like it's 3. All right. It is what it is, D. All right. So this is the wealth management. This is their actual thing, their magazine. Let me bring this down. All right. Let me show you what I was looking at. Rising inflation, growth, amicable ways to bring up real estate. Bring up estate planning. The growth is, what was it I was looking at? Let me see. Did I miss it? No, it's on this page. What was I looking at? I was going to show you all. I think it was dealing with Social Security and versus the rising inflation, right? And then I give you this link and you can read it for yourself. But in here, they're talking about things that you can do to protect yourself against protecting clients and Social Security is tough to beat, right? Against the rising inflation, and then talking about wealth management and what does that look like? What does their Social Security and wealth management look like? I'll give this to D. D can drop it in the chat. All right, so let us in because I know D, you're gonna need about 10 minutes to do your thing. I still have more. I can talk about it on the other show. No big deal, and we'll go from there. So again, I see y'all in a few minutes or so. I guess D will probably push it back to 3:30 or something like that. Again, be ready for the second show. Got a lot to go over, like I had today, and we'll go from there. All right, thanks. See y'all later.